everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Sam and I are happy to have a coach with us who is Brian Munchell, middle school, 7th grade, red boys.
That's correct.
Okay, I got that right. Sam, what do you think?
That's a long title.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, good to have Brian with us.
Well, first time, I think, to be on the show, Brian. We're happy that you could find time to break away from practice to come down to TV3 and talk a little bit about some basketball going on at middle school. It's about to begin.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. When the weather turns cooler and the leaves start falling, the balls start bouncing, and you guys play at Spartan Arena, which is right next to the Spartan Bowl, right?
Correct, yeah. Okay. Spartan Arena, a newer gym. It's been there for a few years now, but great facility.
Yes, it is.
Fun place to play, I think, for even people that come. We play in a lot of different gyms when we travel, and I think one of ours is one of the top ones there is.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. Okay, there are 4 teams at middle school?
Correct. There's 7th and 8th grade red and white teams.
Okay, and how many youngsters are involved in these 4 teams?
Usually we have about 10 players per team. This year, I think the 7th grade white team has 11 players. My team, the 7th grade red, has 10. And I think both 8th grade teams have 9 players apiece this year.
Okay, so that gives the youngsters a lot of opportunity to play. Yeah,
typically. At the 7th grade level, we actually probably start out with about 30 to 40 kids probably each year try out. So, a handful of those, we have to cut, unfortunately. It's probably the hardest part of coaching is that cut day where you have to tell some kids that really hopefully enjoy basketball that, this year you're not going to get to play on a team at school. But we really try to inspire them, hopefully, if they really love the game, to go out and practice and, try out again the following year. Because we always have kids, switching the different teams. And when you get to the high school level, you have numbers drop, whether they are wanting to play other sports and focus on those, or just maybe lose the interest of playing. For instance, I think the seniors last year, I think there was 2 seniors on the high school team. So, when they played middle school basketball, that was 20 kids probably in that group that got down to 2. So,
okay. Sam, this is a feeder program for the high school.
It is, and very important. I think something that maybe kids need to realize that the red and white team, just because you're on the white team, doesn't mean that you won't grow or you won't develop and pass up some of the other guys and do well once you get to high school. Do you find that to be true?
That's absolutely true. Actually, of the 2 seniors last year, they were both on the white team. I think it's good to have a goal maybe to try to make the red team versus the white team or something like that. But in all reality, if you are on a team, that is your goal. Especially seeing the faces of the kids that didn't make one of those teams. They wouldn't care what team they were on. I guarantee it. The key is that you're getting better. We're trying to prepare. I'm not just trying to prepare my 10 kids that I might have on my team. I'm also, at times, we practice with the white teams, and we're working together. We're one group. We are one program, and we're trying to get as many kids as we can, student athletes, up to the next level to perform at the next level.
So Coach Brown's philosophies filter down to you at the 7th grade.
Correct. Yes, Coach Brown does I think a great job of kind of letting each level of coach, depending on the grade levels. We all have something that we're supposed to teach the kids, for each year. So first grade all the way through 8th grade, we're building on the program, and so far I think that's been shown. With the success we've had lately at the high school level, it starts at the lower ages, and thanks to Coach Brown, starting up the travel leagues and things like that, and actually working with each coach and explaining to them, okay, this is what I want them to know by the end of the year. That's going to build your program.
Certainly is, and it's not as much, while you like to win, it's not as much about wins and losses. At that age, it's about developing talent.
Right. I mean, everybody wants to win, I hope.
Sure.
I mean, I hate losing, as much as the next guy. But, wins and losses, they'll come and go, depending on, what your talent level is for that team. But, everybody, we want to get better, to get them to the next level, to succeed at the next level. And in Connersville, I think we have a lot of talent. And if they stick with it, we can have some good success in the future too.
And that tradition is passed on from year to year, I would think. That we've got great tradition here in Connersville with our basketball.
Yeah.
So you played and you understood that, and hopefully the younger kids walk into Spartan Bowl and they see those banners and they realize what basketball means to this community.
Yeah, I think a lot of our coaches have played basketball, and actually a lot of them maybe even at Connersville. The handful I can think of right now. And when I go off to college, I kind of lost track a little bit about Connersville basketball because I was out of town and it really wasn't around. But to be back, it's really nice to see. Sectional championship this year was awesome. My junior year was actually the last time we won sectionals. Before that,
you're showing your age.
Yeah. I'm getting up there, but I mean that was great to see because we've had some amazing teams since my team, my era, and it's crazy to believe that we hadn't won a sectional since then. So it's good to get back on the winning tradition and show people what we're really about.
Exactly.
These youngsters you coach are 13, right?
Yeah, most of the seventh graders, yes.
Right. What about academic? What's their goal there? There are certain standards they have to meet?
Yeah, there's they have certain, couple, if they don't have certain GPAs, I think it's 1.3 to 2.0, I believe it is. Mr. Liggett could tell you more about that, but
sure.
He lets us know if anybody is falling in the zone of needs improvement. But it's something we look at during tryouts. It really is. We let the kids know that classroom comes first, and if you're not working hard in the classroom, it's really not gonna help you to be on the team because you won't be on a team if you don't succeed in the classroom. So my goal is to get all my athletes to pass. If they're not passing, I'd rather them go to homework help and get help there and come to practice after that. So, classroom is by far the most important thing, and that's what we strive for. And typically, with your athletes, you don't have a lot of that because they do work hard in everything they do, which is nice to see.
These fellows that you coach are in high school right now. Are there some that you coached?
Yeah, I think I coached the juniors on down so far. This is my 5th year. I started out as an 8th grade PE teacher, and now I'm in 7th grade. So I actually know the kids that are seniors, and I helped Coach Silcott sit on the bench and kind of helped with those guys. Didn't get my hands on them as much as he did, but I'm glad to see him succeed. It means more, I think, to me watching them. Now that I know everybody, so it's really fun to watch.
Well, I bet it is. Where did you go to college, Brian?
I went to Indiana University.
Okay. And,
Go Hoosiers.
Yep, exactly.
Did you play sports there?
I played a lot of intramural sports. Played basketball, played a lot of softball, flag football, wiffle ball. Yes, I did in a sense. Not at the collegiate level, but definitely still had the love for it and still played.
Sure. Right. So you root for the Hoosiers, I imagine.
Definitely a Hoosier fan. Not Kentucky like Coach Bomley. He's a little mixed up, but we're trying to sway him back over. I think he was on the program earlier, so.
Right.
He's yeah.
When's your season begin? How many games do you play? And you play home and away quite a bit. Is it pretty well even, or?
Yep, this year we typically have around 19 or 20 games.
Okay.
The last few years we've got a couple snowed out, so I think about 17 games on average my last couple years. And some of that depends on if you win games in tournaments, you get to play maybe an extra or so. But it is a good number of games that we play.
Sure is.
This year we're on the road a lot as the red team. And last year we were at home a lot. So we got two kind of different schedules just depending on, which year it is. You got on the road quite a bit and then you got at home quite a bit. So, it's always nice to play at home. So next year, my 7th graders and 8th graders, they'll play most of their 8th grade games at home to where this year, we'll be on the road quite a bit.
What are some of the schools you play?
We play quite a bit of the conference teams.
Okay.
The high school
Sure.
plays, and then just other regional teams. South Dearborn, I think, is the furthest we go, which is a pretty good hike. You know, Mr. Liggett, I think, has actually got a couple new games this year. I know I just saw the white team had an extra game added. I'm not sure who that was, to be honest with you, but it's usually the same teams year after year. But you know, every once in a while we get something different thrown in.
I think you play St. Michael's of Brookville.
The white team plays St. Michael's, and then Laurel as well, and then we play
in Richmond.
Richmond teams, both Richmond Test and Dennis. We play. So, you know, there's a number of decent, you know, talented teams, you know, that we face, and it gives us good competition.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Well, it's great to have 4 teams at junior high school. I mean, your guys will advance to the 8th grade next year.
Correct.
And then do into high school, freshman, and JV and varsity.
Yep. Yeah. We hope they stick with it. That's what our goals are. Keep them interested, stick with it, and keep working hard so they can get to that next level.
Do you work with the parents too? Do you meet the parents?
Yeah, we actually have a parent meeting on Wednesday after school. All the teams will meet together, and then we'll break off into our individual teams and actually talk to parents. You know, try to set up good communication, which, you know, that's I've been working on that over the years. It's a little bit easier now with text messaging and different things you have available to you to really, you know, talk back and forth with pretty quick, you know, just by touching your phones nowadays. But, you know, it's always important for us to, you know, keep in good contact, make sure that, you know, the players are healthy and they're not hurt. You know, we want to know that if they are, and you know, just things that might be going on outside of school or outside of class, you know, the gym that might affect them or that we need to know. So it's, you know, it's always great to have that good communication there.
What's a practice session? How long does it last? And what are the main things you hit in a practice session?
Right now our practices are about 2 hours long. We typically do a lot of drills, working on fundamentals, dribbling, passing, shooting. And then we sprinkle in some offensive and defensive strategies throughout the year that we might be working on. Of course, once we start playing, you know, and I actually see them in the game, I can see, you know, the things that we're doing great, you know, are working well, and the things that we might need to focus on a little bit more, whether that be offense or defense or, you know, different strategies here or there that, you know, that Coach Brown kind of puts in for us. So,
Sam, when you watch these youngsters, you can see the varsity and junior varsity team there. I mean, they're all playing the same style.
They are.
As you pointed out, Kerry Brown is instrumental in the program all the way down.
Certainly is. And, you know, Fran, I like his style.
Sure.
That he gets the most out of the talent that he has on the floor. And we're never blessed with a lot of size, it seems. But you know, they box out well and they rebound well. And you know, we usually have some pretty good shooters. So that's just a mark of a Kerry Brown team, and it's great to see that carry down to the lower grade levels. And certainly, I would think having Brian at the middle school, that has to be a plus, as well as he's able to stay in touch with these kids, you know, all season long, all year long, and as students there, and he is a teacher. So I think that is good for the program as well.
Absolutely. What kind of a training program do you keep in shape for your youngsters? Is it anything like the high school with the weights and?
We don't get into too much weightlifting. I'd like to. It's kind of hard to find the time, and sometimes to be able to do that at the lower levels. I think I'm going to put in a lot more push-ups this year, to be honest with you, because I told my players that we need to get stronger, and I want to be the strongest team on the court, because we are a lot of times smaller. You know, of a group, you know, size-wise, I played some monsters last year. They were as big as me, some of them, the 7th graders, and that was kind of crazy, you know, as far as that goes. But you know, we're working them out pretty good right now, trying to get them into basketball shape. You know, it's a little different. I had some kids playing cross country or doing some things in the beginning of the year, and you know, I'm sure they're in really good shape. Is it basketball shape? I don't know. We're trying to find that out. You know, it's a lot of stopping, going, starting, sprinting. You know, so it's a lot more to it. So there is a basketball shape we're trying to get them in, which I know they love running right now. They do a lot of it right now, and I think they're enjoying it for the most part.
Okay, yes, you play 6-minute quarters?
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
6-minute quarters. which, sometimes that makes it difficult to get, all your 10 players, time. But, that's something, as long as they work hard in practice and put in effort, they'll see the floor for sure. And they should be learning and being able to contribute. So that's the good part.
Good. 5 years you say you've been at this is your 5th year. What's been your best record?
My best record, I believe, was 15-2.
Oh.
We lost 2 games one year, which that's the freshman group now, which they're a pretty good group, which you'll see coming up. A lot of people already know about. 10-7 a couple years. I've never had a losing record, so I don't plan on that if you're on my team this year, which is nice. But that just kind of shows, the talent that comes up. How it is pretty nice, and the kids work hard, and at lower levels there's some coaching going on there too as well. It's just not learning everything once they come up to middle school. So,
are there any tournaments that you play in presently, or?
Yep. Yeah. Each year we typically have 3 tournaments off the top of my head that my team plays in, the 7th grade and the 8th grade red teams. There's the Connorsville Invitational, which we play in at home. And then we typically go to Batesville. There's a St. Louis tournament, St. Louis school down there. And then we end our year at the Newcastle tournament.
Do you ever play a Spartan Bowl, these tournaments, or the Invitational? Is it played?
The 8th grade usually gets to play in the Spartan Bowl at the Connorsville Invitational. This year I think it might have been double booked, though. I think there's a high school game or something, a freshman team or something going on. So we'll actually be at the high school as 7th graders playing in the high school gym, and the 8th grade will play in the arena this year. But, yeah, they do get to play in the bowl usually during that time.
Must be a thrill for them.
Yeah, I think so. I think anytime you're involved with Connorsville basketball and you get to go into the bowl and play. Yeah, the tunnel was a pretty magical place. Being able to run through that was a blessing. So, I hope the kids nowadays realize that as much as I did, when I was growing up. I think they do. I think, it's a special place, and I think they realize how they're really lucky to have a place to play that's like that.
What years were you in high school?
I was there from 1993 to 1998.
Okay, how did Sam? You probably remember some of Ryan's games.
Yeah, I do. And boy, that was back when I was just first getting started myself in radio. But some great teams back then. A lot of fun to watch. Back when we still hosted a sectional. Back during the single class days, and we had some pretty good success over the years there. And Brian's group, name some of the guys that you played with, and it'll all come to me then.
Joe Newman, Ron Spurlock, Jared Vance, Lou Wooten. That was some of my senior guys. Todd Barrett, Jack Dare, Brock Powell, Sam McIntyre. It's
some pretty good athletes.
Yeah, we had some pretty good teams, good success.
Yeah, and well, you mentioned one, Joe Newman. He was always a lot of fun to watch, and he was a lot of fun to watch coach when we used to get to watch him coach. But yeah, some of those guys and Jack Dare, just a lot of fun to watch those guys. You guys seemed to have it all together back then.
We definitely had some good times, and we started at a young age, just like nowadays I think these kids do, and built kind of a team bond, over the years. And we actually had, I think, 5 or 6 seniors on our team. And I think if you can get a group of kids that stay together and that do work hard, and we knew each other, so we knew what each other could do, our strengths, our weaknesses, and we had each other's backs on the floor. And as a team, you have to have that. It wasn't just a bunch of individuals playing. We were a team, and we had been for years. So I mean, that really helps.
And the coach was Howard?
Howard Renner was the coach. I think Scott Hetty was there my freshman year. And then it was, Coach Renner after that.
He was a lot of fun, too.
Yeah, he kind of actually has a similar style, I think, to Coach Brown, which, for me makes it easy because that's a similar style that I played. So it's a little bit easier to coach that, since that's the way we were pretty much taught.
You brought up on that, yes.
Yeah.
Joe Newman coached at Brookfield, didn't he? Or at
Franklin County.
Franklin County, I should say. Right, right.
Yeah, Hoopty, I called him. And that was, you had some guys with some bulk on them. They're not necessarily just super tall, but your teams that you played on, some guys pretty big through the chest and able to really hold their own.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't the tallest team either, you know, when we played, and but we were, you know, I thought one of the toughest. You know, we were physical with no matter what team it was. And,
mentally tough.
Yeah, and I think you have to be that way, especially if you're a smaller team, and that's what I try to, you know, kind of get ingrained in our kids, you know, at a younger age too. Is each level you move up, it's more physical of a game, and you know, some of those fouls you're getting nowadays aren't going to be called next year or the next year after that. That's just part of the game and how the game is. So
and the pace of the game.
Right,
too.
and that's, you know, that's where strength comes in. You know, as far as, you know, wanting to build their strength up a little bit. So it's a rough game, but that's kind of what makes it fun too.
It is.
Class basketball, what do you think? When it came in, what were your feelings?
I was pretty bitter about it, just because that was my senior year. So, you know, like Sam said, you know, it was kind of hard to lose, you know, having a sectional at the Spartan Bowl. On the other end of it, though, I had a cousin that played at Cambridge City, and he liked it because, you know, they came to the bowl, and you know, for them it would be a chance to maybe a little bit easier to get a sectional win, you know, and win a sectional. But I've always hated it, to be honest with you. Maybe because of when the time it was when it came in and it took a sectional away from us. But I just liked, you know, the Milan story. You know, having the smaller teams beat the bigger teams. You know, and actually having, you know, the best team win, and that's a rough subject.
but you know, you mentioned Lincoln, and they did come down here and knock the Spartans off in a sectional, and we had a change of coaching as a result of that. So, you know, it did have big effects when the small teams would come in and beat the big teams. And I remember Randolph Southern beating Richmond on Richmond's floor and won a sectional up there. And to them, that was almost like when we won the state. I worked with a lady that lived up at Lynn, Indiana. She said, you know, all night long, just people out, up and down the street, and parades and things going on. So we've lost a lot of that, but it's not coming back. So we got to deal with it.
Right,
the way it is.
That's right. That's right. Oh, you know, as you guys talked about, it gives 4 schools a chance to be a champion at the end of the year instead of 1. So I can see the positive of it too. But Senator Jean Lysing, I don't know if she's given up or not. Sam, do you?
Well, I think maybe that I don't think there's any hope of getting it changed.
No, because she got the IHSA involved, and they did the tours of the state to get the feelings, and I guess that was her last hurrah. But,
for that, and you know, it was a good effort. And they, her and another senator tried to get it changed, but just couldn't. And some people say that state government has no business in IHSAA, and maybe they do, and maybe they don't. But certainly, state government funds schools.
Well, it was fun to watch, though. I mean, she was really, really sincere in her efforts and everything. So Brian, what do you think of our high school team this year? What's your outlook?
I'm looking forward to it. You know, coming off a sectional victory last year, you know, we got a lot of guys coming back. Like I said, we only lost 2 seniors from last year, which, you know, they'll be hard to, you know, take their place. We got to have some guys step up for sure. But I'm looking for another sectional championship, and I'm hoping for some regional wins.
There you go.
That's been a long time ago too. That might have been Coach Bottomley actually that you had on, you know, a while back. So, you know, I think we're going the right direction for that, and you know, we have a lot of talent. So that's you know, if we can get some depth and have people step up there, I think we got a good shot at it.
At the middle school, the girls have red and white teams too. right?
Correct.
And they don't play till January, I believe.
Yeah, they start a little bit after us. Actually have had some girls ask me. I need to actually figure out when that date actually is, because I've had some of them ask me, and I'm like, I know it's not right now. But yeah, it's once they start, I think January is when it really hits, because we have a lot of sharing the gyms, and now you have 8 teams,
Sure.
Sharing 2
Yes.
gyms, so it's gets a little tight different times, but we're in our schedule too, that we're out on the road, playing games, and that way they can practice some more too, and just trying to share the arena so we can have that home field advantage, So it's a good problem to have.
It'd be nice to be able to get a practice field house like like some of the schools around here have put in, that maybe have a little more money in the bank, but certainly would help our athletic programs from middle school right on through the high school.
Yeah, I think so. Anytime you can have more places to play or practice, or just work on whatever sport or skill that might be, there's more of a chance that the kids are going to do that. More opportunity. I assume will create more success. So that would be great to have.
Yeah, which would include weight rooms and all that.
What nights do you play during the week?
Typically, we'll play throughout the week. It's a lot of Tuesdays, Thursday games. All of our tournaments, or most of them on Saturday. The Batesville tournament's actually over Christmas break, so I think it's on a Tuesday, I believe. But yeah, it's a lot through the week. So it's hard for the kids, I'm sure, with their homework and things like that. They have to stay up a little bit later once we get home from games, and it's kind of hard to do anything on a bus bouncing around. So, they put in their extra time, and that's, I'm proud of them for that.
What's your game time? When do you start?
It kind of depends on if the other team, if we're going there or they're coming here, how long it is away. Usually anywhere from about 5 to 5:30.
Oh, okay.
So we play the 2 games. So some nights we'll be getting back around 9 o'clock or so. Not crazy late, but late enough to where if the kids got homework and they need to get some food, and it can make it a long night.
Sure. It's not like, well, Friday nights are reserved for varsity and JV games, so you guys can't play on Fridays.
Right.
So during the week, it can be a little bit tough on kids, but that's teaching, I think, Sam.
It's preparing them for when they do get in high school. I want to ask, do you have anyone helping you? Do you have an assistant, or you pretty much do this by yourself?
Yep. Last year was the first time I ever had an assistant. Mark Sollenbarger actually helps me coach right now, and then at the other levels, you got Chris Silcott. He picked up TJ Billups, who obviously is just fresh out of the program here recently. So he's helping. We got Coach Reynolds, 7th grade white. He has Matt French, who's also been involved with Carnesville basketball, and then Chris Bloom, his brother Ian Bloom usually helps him. So we got a lot of minds that we talk things over with each other, and bounce ideas and problems or issues we might have. We all kind of work together with that. So it's nice to have extra hands.
Sure.
As you pointed out, Sam, all these names are familiar Connersville names.
They are. They are, and I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep it local.
Absolutely. It's been great having you here, Brian, and we want to wish you and your guys the best of luck and everything. The red team is what you coach, and there's the white team in the 7th grade, and then the 8th grade red and the 8th grade white. So a lot of young men are getting practice for basketball when they hit high school.
Yep. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I think we're all ready for a good year.
Brian Munchell has been joining us. He's the coach of the 7th grade middle school team at Connersville Middle School, and we appreciate him joining us here on tonight's edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.